Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price this Friday as we had 4 green daily candles in a row, followed by a rug pull and a major dump, mainly driven by Amazon coming down 20% in after hours trading after reporting some negative guidance into Q4. And this is after Meta, otherwise known as Facebook, was down over 20% earlier this week. Two big tech stocks taking major hits are going to drag the major indices down, which is what we saw with the S&P 500 coming down over 2%. And that also dragged Bitcoin down. So what's most important coming into this weekend? And it's only Friday. Equity markets haven't opened up yet as I record this video. It's 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This means that what's most significant right now is how the S&P 500 closes its weekly candle. Let's dive straight into the charts and we'll talk about those weekly candles. But what you need to know about Bitcoin right now is the major support level in the immediate short term is 19,800. If we fall back into this pocket between 19,800 and the previous weekly open at 19,262, a downside move does come onto the table. And so that's something that we want to monitor coming into this close for the week. You can see this range here is where Bitcoin traded at for quite some time over the last month. And so if we come back into this range, all we've seen so far is a rejection of the 20-week moving average. And this is going to be quite tough for Bitcoin to get above that 20-week moving average. The S&P 500 closing this weekly candle in 11 hours, you can see all it's done so far is reject its 20-week moving average. And this is mainly being driven by Amazon coming down over 20%. But what the positive news is if we look at the S&P 500, you can see we're actually still holding above the major support, which is the channel support here. The midpoint of this channel is extremely important for this Friday close for the S&P 500. We need to observe this weekly candle because this wick is quite ugly here, testing the 20-week moving average. What I'd preferably like to see is a weekly candle close above the support level right around 37.76 for the E-mini futures contract. And of course, for Bitcoin, if we can get the S&P 500 to close above that, we'll most likely stay above this major support level that we've just talked about here inside of that range between 19,262 and 19,798. In the DXY, you can see a slight push to the upside, but still potentially coming down here and losing some steam. And so that's important to note. You can see we rejected this previous weekly open and we failed to form a higher high. So we've only formed a lower high so far from that initial run to 114. So do we have a potential double top here? Well, all of that is on the table. We know these charts love double tops, like Bitcoin double topped at 69,000. And so right now for Bitcoin, it is crucial that we stay above 19,600. And really, we want to stay above that 2018 previous all-time high, preferably just stay above 20,000 coming into this Friday. You can see so far our candle low for the day is 20,026. But I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, with what we saw with Amazon stock, it is going to be quite tough for Bitcoin to maintain upside price action and bullish action coming into this weekend unless something changes in the next 11 hours and the S&P 500 can reclaim itself above that 20-week moving average. That's certainly going to be a very positive sign there, but that may or may not be on the table. So that's what we'll monitor here for that weekly candle. And then, of course, the weekend is going to be the most manipulated for Bitcoin. The positive news is some more risk-on assets in the crypto market like Ethereum are doing quite well. The Ethereum to Bitcoin chart saw a nice push to the upside, holding above 65,000 Satoshis. We have a lot of room here for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And so we do want to continue to monitor that. And then outside of that, I would say that what's most significant right now is that Bitcoin to SPY chart that we've been monitoring. You can see we broke out from this resistance to invalidate this descending triangle, but what we really want to see is a weekly candle close above this resistance. You can see we got pushed back below the 20-week moving average for the Bitcoin against SPY chart. And so this is going to be important to monitor. So far, previous resistance is acting as support right now. And so if we can keep that as support, then there's potential of continuation. But if we break this previous resistance that's currently support, then that level becomes a lot more significant. The descending triangle will come back on the table. So we want to monitor that Bitcoin to SPY chart. Japan down 0.88%. And so that could give us a little bit of a glimpse as to what we're going to see with equity markets. It's going to be really tough. You can see Meta down 24%. And then we look at what happened to the Amazon and after hours, down 20% after reporting some very negative guidance coming into Q4. A lot of uncertainty with their guidance, billions of dollars of a range in which they are expecting their Q4 to come in, which means that they just don't really quite know how consumers are going to be for the holiday season, which is why we saw a massive push to the downside. You're not going to see it reflected on this chart right now because that happened in after hours trading, which means that we're coming into a very tough weekend right now, especially for this open on Friday with what happened to Amazon. Everyone knows, everyone's seen it, 20% down in after hours trading. And so the bears are certainly still here. And so we do have to monitor price action for Bitcoin. Holding above 19,800 is going to be the most positive scenario. How the S&P 500 closes this weekly candle is also going to be extremely significant. So I'm going to give you guys an update on that once we see how that weekly candle closes. And outside of that, thank you all snipers for tuning into the channel today for this Friday 6 a.m. update. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support these updates, and we'll see what happens coming to this Friday close. Until next time, snipers out.